Going on, everybody? Good old JM here with you on this Throwback Thursday as we present yet another out of the archives right here on the Casa D18 Studios. JJ, I know, has been working tirelessly to comb through everything on the NoDQ channel, on the Jeff Meacham Network, on his own Casa D18 Studios, on the J. Hebert 95 Studios, the Simple Man brand, to present to you something that you may not have seen before, something that you haven't seen in a long time, perhaps. I know I'm looking forward to what the Renegade has in store, and I hope you are too. Kick your feet up, enjoy a little respite from the craziness of a Thursday, and enjoy this classic content right here on the Casa D18 Studios.
And now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.
It's out of my hands, but I'm still in control. It's out of my hands. You can never take away the power of my soul.
Scan the QR codes to see what's upcoming for FTW Productions and what's available on demand right now. Button Master Stable Wars entire playlist. AEW Revolution Go Home Week, Dynamite and Rampage watch parties. Mistress Audio dramatic readings featuring voice actors from Weymouth Youth Wrestling. Elimination Chamber retrospective. All WrestleMania-themed retros by Wrestling Fortune 44 Incorporated. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order Let's Play series. WrestleMania 19 Revenge Mode Let's Play series. All of a Simple Man's brand Simply Predicting panels. Both episodes of The Don DeMarco Show. AEW Spark, WWE Aftershock, every show week by week. The entirety of the NASCAR Thunder 2004 Let's Play series. Past and upcoming Jeff Meacham Network watch-along coverage. FTW Productions watch party for WrestleMania Go Home Raw. A Simple Take, WWE Simple Takes featuring Casa D18 Studios. Super Mario Bros. Z voice acting. Episode 3 coming soon. Breaking news, ATW View impromptu, WYW intro and immortal stream. Wrestling with Idiocy, Episode 7, our favorite WrestleMania matches. Plugs have concluded. On to the video.
Hello everybody, this is Double A, the normal cameraman for the Renegade of Wrestling channel on YouTube. Shouts out to guys over there. Just letting you know to be on the lookout for my new show, The Double Down with Double A. It's going to be innovative, it's going to be fun. I'm not always going to talk about wrestling, I'm going to talk about sports, current events, or just shit that just really just pisses me off. So be sure to tune in very soon.
Casa D18 Studios, an affiliate of the Jeff Meacham Network Multiverse of Media, proudly presents this retro content from A Simple Man's Brand.
It was May 25th, 2019 that set a benchmark in professional wrestling not seen in over a couple of decades, where we had family affairs, emotional strives, and really a paradigm shift. And 2 years later, we come back to that same vision brought forward for AEW as we once again go double or nothing. Hello, everybody. Welcome once again to the ATW View. My name is Noah Foster, and I am the Simple Man. And joining me tonight here on the ATW View is the ATW crew. As always, you got a trio with you here tonight, folks, as we have the Inquisitor, the Inquirer, the Informer, my good friend here representing Indy Entertainment, Eric Brown, and tonight's host, surprise, folks, he is all elite. He is too sweet. He is definitely a guy that is Bullet Club for life and has been with AEW since its genesis, like us too. But he controls the floor now. So now I hand it over to the king of ATW, King A-Train. You have the floor.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Welcome to ATW View, your AEW Double or Nothing prediction video. And we're going to kick things off with the start of the match of the buy-in that happened. Started off with Serena Deeb and Riho for the NWA Women's World Championship. Eric, I'm going to pass it along to you. Who do you think has the edge in this match between Serena Deeb and Riho?
Riho has the edge, if for no other reason, because she beat her in the tournament.
Okay. Noah, who you got?
Oh, okay. Well, let me talk to you. This is a classic being revisited from the AEW Women's Tournament, where Riho did beat, of course, Serena Deeb to move forward. That being said, Serena Deeb is the current NWA Women's World Champion with an inevitable defense of the title at the next NWA pay-per-view. When our shadows fall, I believe, obviously, Camille's going to face Deeb. That being said, I got Deeb winning. I think Deeb's going to get that win back here, and we're going to get another classic as we go into this phenomenal pay-per-view before actual start time, with a full capacity at Daily's Place. It's going to be a classic women's match, but I got Deeb retaining.
I'm going to have to agree here. I got Serena Deeb retaining. I mean, when she came back against that match with Red Velvet for that Women's World Championship, she had that edge, that aggressiveness, that side to her that I don't think I've seen her tap into. But that match with Red Velvet, oh my, that aggressiveness shown that basically she can win it. She can turn that aggressive mode when she wants to turn it on in situations like that. So I got Serena Deeb retaining for the NWA Women's World Championship.
Yeah, and let's talk about how impressive a champion she's been too. Again, like you said, she's so positive, a queen of yoga, a coach, a veteran, I might add, over near 16 years of experience. Already defended this title successfully against Allison Kay, Ty Conji, and Legit Layla Hirsch too.
But you also gotta consider Rio because she's been doing it since she was single digits.
That is very true. I would not count her out. But right now, Serena Deeb just come back from injury. She is not letting go of this title.
Yes, it should be a classic match. I can't wait. And now we move on to the Casino Battle Royal. This is going to be a two-part question. Who do y'all got winning, and who do y'all think is that wild card, that surprise Joker card? Noah, you got the floor on this one.
The Casino Battle Royale is always a thing full of surprises. You got battles of tag teams, you got family warfare, you got standouts. This could go any way. My top picks include Hobbs and Jungle Boy, Christian Cage. I would not rule out Penta either. Maybe we get some NJPW appearance from Rocky Romero. That being said, if I had to pick a winner, looking at what happened on the go home right now, it looks like it could come down literally to Hobbs and my inevitable pick, the man out to outwork everyone. I am going with Christian Cage. Ever since he came into the brand, they teased this idea that he wants the ATW World Championship, and he's going to do it the right way to get to that point. And with his hybrid TNA theme, there's a chance this match might not even happen just under AEW. It could happen under Impact too. It might be a different title. But Christian Cage is my key pick to win. Now, as far as wild card, if you want to bring in a wild surprise, I know people want Daniel Bryan. I know an optimistic crowd wants CM Punk. And then people have said other wild names too. But for me, I feel the one that could definitely crash the party is Sami Callihan. Sami Callihan wants Don Callis. I knew it. And Sami Callihan wants a piece of Kenny Omega. Since he's on the outside looking in of Moose versus Kenny Omega inevitably for the Impact World Championship, this is how you further that partnership and that bridge with Sami Callihan. Lights go out, and then next thing you know, Death Machine plays. So Sami Callihan for surprise, but ultimately, Christian Cage is my pick to win.
Nice. I agree with those, which I'll talk more about when it gets to my turn, but it's not my turn right now. I'm going to pass over to Eric. Eric, since Noah said that Sami Callihan got your prediction, do you have a backup? And if so, who is it, and who you got winning the Battle Royale?
I was trying to think of a backup, but it was too late. And I'm already calling that Christian Cage is going to win this because they have to do a match at All Out.
Or Fight for the Fallen, or Fight Fest. If those two events occur while they are going back in July.
Would you want him on the free show or on the pay-per-view?
It wouldn't be the first time AEW did pay-per-view quality TV for free. Just saying.
Yeah, we had Fighter Fest last year. We had Fight for the Fallen for the past 2 years. So why not? I mean, they've always given us pay-per-view quality on free television on TNT.
So what are your thoughts, King?
Man, my thoughts on this. Y'all pretty much said all the picks that I got going into Sunday. Y'all saying Hobbs and Christian, and that's who I got. But I've also heard names that people have mentioned to me that say they imagine since New Japan has been in the talks as of late with WWE, and then Tony Khan with his own rebuttal on last night before Dynamite, which if y'all have not checked it out on Twitter, it's all over everywhere. It's on YouTube, Twitter, probably Instagram. Go check it out. Tony Khan, best booker, best owner, best promoter of the year. That's why he earned back to back. Imagine Kazuchika Okada showing up.
Now he's sick.
And he's going to face Shingo Takagi at Dominion for the vacant IWGP World Heavyweight Championship.
And I've also heard names of Moose. Rich Swan's name was thrown around as well.
Okay. Rich Swan, that's one that's
interesting. No one's brought up Kota Ibushi.
Considering the history. But he also has a match coming up at Dominion as well. So
also, isn't he injured?
He was a stock dude.
Well, he got rocked by the Kamagoye, but I don't think he's injured necessarily.
Okay.
So there's even one more name that has been brought up before we move on to the next match, and that's Andrade. Do y'all really see Andrade being the Joker card and showing up in front of a sold-out Daily's place?
Well, I can imagine it because last we heard he was talking with AEW, and he does have a.
So which one were you?
That is correct. That is true.
I mean, again, in this era of open wrestling, never say never. But again, he's already got a match with Kenny Omega for the AAA Omega Championship at Triple Mania. I don't think he's going to go this soon.
Now, we got all the picks in. That was very good smash discussion on that one, fellas. But now it's time to move on. Yes, y'all see the shirt. Just in case y'all see it, it's time to move on to the AEW World Tag Team Championship match between Eddie Kingston and Jon Moxley versus my guys, of course. Y'all know who they are. The Air Dior's themselves, the Young Bucks. Now, I'm going to start this one off, of course, because it's my guys. This will be, I think, yep. Oh, thank you, Noah. Yep, that's he always coming in clutch. Always. Man, this is gonna be your street fight typical tag team match right here, because Moxley and Kingston are brawlers. They're brawlers in the ring when it comes to their styles. The Young Bucks have defined tag team wrestling of this generation. So I can see a clash of two styles of basically brawling versus tag team wrestling. But when I look at it, oh man, never underestimate the Bucks, never go against the Bucks. I've always known that, and I'm sticking by with it. I'm going with the Bucks on this one because, yes, Moxley and Kingston work good together, but who I want to see take them tag team titles are either Santana and Ortiz or the Lucha Bros down the road. That's just my opinion. But with that being said, Eric, who do you got and what do you see going into this match between Mox and Kingston versus the Bucks?
I do see Mox and King going ahead and taking the titles from the Young Bucks, but there is one positive about this match. This match is the fact that the rubber industry will not be making as much money this time.
They're gonna keep him grounded.
Yeah, the rubber industry unfortunately cannot make as much more money as they did with Ray Phoenix and Pac versus the Young Bucks, which was awesome.
No.
Yeah, so yeah, I do think Mox and Kingston have this, but you gotta also contend with you got Don Callis and you got the Good Brothers in the lurking.
Oh, of course, you got me, because whenever the Bucks or Omega, whoever, there are always going to be somebody.
Your phone's acting up.
In the elite Nakazawa, it could be Cutler. Hold up. Am I good now? We good now?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a little bit of background noise. You're all good, and your feedback.
Right.
He's on the go, folks. He's fine.
Technical
difficulties.
But Noah, I pass it on to you. Who do you got in this match, and where do you see this match going between these teams?
Well, again, as we just saw on Countdown, you saw it's a pair of pit bulls, a pair of street thugs, a pair of wild things taking on the Young Bucks with a brand new demeanor, it seems, ever since being influenced by the Invisible Hand. But again, this match has been made personal, not just the attack of their property, but the theft of their intellectual property too, in those Dior Jordans that you shoe freaks know very well. That being said, I look at this match, I look at the tag team division, I look at the rankings, I look at what could be going forward, I look at what could come out of this, whether or not they have Goon Squad or Young Boy with them. I think that Moxley and Kingston are going to dethrone the Young Bucks. If it's not going to be the Lucha Bros, this is the next logical choice. And unfortunately, with the fact that Ray Phoenix is injured, this is the best restart you can have for the tag team division. Plus, Eddie Kingston, he deserves a championship based on just what he's done in AEW alone. And I think he and Moxley as tag team champs would be a very unique dynamic, especially because we know John Moxley is going to take it a little easier, I'm sure, at some point soon, because, of course, he's going to be a father. I have new champs coming out of Double or Nothing in Moxley and Eddie Kingston. It's going to be a hell of a fight. I can only imagine how deep the tag team arsenal that the Bucks are going to dig into to try and stop these two, let alone keep them down. But regardless, Cold Spray even involved. I think the Young Bucks finally met their match in these two.
We'll just have to see what happens on that match. I am definitely looking forward to it.
There is something.
What you got?
They could add to. They could, like I said, I was hoping Sami Callihan goes ahead and backs them up on this because the Good Brothers are Impact and Sami Callihan knows them. But I just remember this. There is one more wild card in this match.
Who could that one more wild card be?
A man who swore to destroy the elite, Frankie Kazarian.
That's right. Because your boys retired SCU. We'll talk about that later. It's all good. I'm all good. Kazarian's got a hit list out on your elite, the super elite they call themselves. So I definitely would not rule that out too. And that could be the difference maker because we know young boy Brandon Cutler's going to be out by ringside. Nobody else with a can of code spray.
All I gotta say is this before we move on. It is what it is.
Love that, I suppose. Fair enough.
But anyways, we move on to basically, I think, one of the few matches I have been looking for, even though this card is super stacked, but there's been a few matches that have been on my mind that I want to talk about, that I want to dive into. And that's the AEW Women's Championship match between Sheeta and Dr. Britt Baker.
D. Don't forget it.
This one I'm gonna leave to basically, I think, the man who can break this down more than probably me, and I know he will. I'm gonna give this one to you, Noah. Who do you got, and what do you see, and what do you think what we will get out of this match?
This is one of those setups, matches, feuds that is a classic in professional wrestling. When you consider that this is a trilogy, because this is the third singles encounter now between these two. As we saw on Countdown, in the most prolific part of the special, in my opinion, there's going to be confidence tested, there's going to be passion tested, and there's going to be pressure tested. Both these women exemplified in their own words, physical and verbally, why they are the baddest bitch here and why they will do any means necessary to win, whether it's Bushido or whether it's by killer instinct. Hikaru Shida has been the AEW Women's World Champion now for over a year, triple the time of the previous two champions, going through successful defenses against Penelope Ford, Tai Conchi, Anna Jay, Abaddon, Thunder Rosa, Rhea Mizunami, Big Swole, and Nyla Rose in a rematch again. She has held down this division during the hardest time you could think in pro wrestling history during a pandemic. Britt Baker, first time that these two actually met was back in November 2019 in a simple 10-minute match. And that was when Britt Baker was still figuring out herself. Since she figured out herself back on that cruise and owned this character, they really brought up that Britt Baker can only carry herself outside the ring, but there's a reason why she's related to Adam Cole, baby. She can get it done inside the ring as well. With what I thought was one of the matches of the pandemic era in general, and the best match in women's wrestling for AEW to date during that time, where Hikaru Shida and Britt Baker went 17 minutes, broke her nose, friend to break it again tomorrow night, and literally made her a top seller, and we've seen Britt Baker just continue to go up from there. What I also appreciate about this, despite her being the heel, is that she literally honored the ranking system, working her way up, working her ass off on Dark, Elevation, and Dynamite to become the #1 contender. Both these ladies have spoke their piece, and they both prove what they say. That being said, it has been over a year now, and one of the biggest criticisms of AEW is women's division. For the last few months, I truly feel like with what they're bringing across all three of their platforms, they're trying to reset and they're pushing it forward. And as Britt Baker says, pain either hurts you or changes you. She believes now it's changed to the point that she has a pulse and can breathe new life in this division, and you don't have to be hooked up to a machine. I have Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, becoming our new AEW Women's World Champion in the toughest and longest match to date in Hikaru Shida's and Britt Baker's AEW career. And I see Chris Statlander or Thunder Rosa being the first challengers toward this title too. Hikaru Shida, thank you. I'm glad they finally got a new title too, but it's time finally for a new era to occur in this women's division through the role model. I have a new champion.
Man, like I said earlier, so I told you guys, no one better. I knew he was going to break it down, story by story. That's why I love this man. Woo, got me hyped up. Eric, will we see the continuing of a Shida era, or we move on to the DMD era? Give me your thoughts.
We're moving to DMD. It's been long overdue. We thought she was going to win the tournament and then win at Revolution, only to subvert it and let Nyla Rose win, only to lose that tournament. and then you have to remember, since we've had WWE in our minds for like over 20 years from this point, we always had that assumption, oh, well, if that person loses, that means they go down a little bit down the card, and then the winner gets to get the push. And then nope. Thunder Rosa has disappeared, is fighting in NWA, and Britt Baker rose to the occasion and is trying to basically be the new hardcore legend, which would be kind of awesome. Which I'm still saying they really should have done this as a ladder match, especially for DMD's own ego. Like she climbed the rankings, and this is her climbing on top of her fault.
I like that.
Fallen victims to be the one that holds the crown.
Well, we know Hikaru Shida is going to have a rematch, and I can see it being escalated to that. So I love that idea.
Yeah, but I like to also state that Britt Baker finally got her action figure. Let's rejoice on that before she said she would retire. Hikaru Shida also wins in this because she gets to have her wish. She wanted to defend the title in a full crowd.
Isn't great.
She's literally accomplished everything she set out to do as champion, as our champion. As she says, she did it for us. And again, not bad for Dr. Britt Baker, who I might add, both these ladies won their inaugural matches under AEW too. Britt Baker, of course, won that 4-way. Hikaru Shida won that Josie Pro 6-woman tag. So honestly, it looked like these two were destined to finally meet at this point.
You have to consider that Britt Baker also has an edge over her because she was at All In.
That is very true as well, which of course was the genesis of what became AEW. You definitely have that right. Not bad for somebody who's only been in the business for 5 years. Britt Baker, the sky's the limit.
Yep, and I agree with everybody in this. We will see a DMD era. Thank you, Shida, for giving us the best year of you as Women's World Champion. But it's time to move on, and Britt, it's time for you to shine.
Also, what did everyone think when she took a shot at Austin 316?
Ooh.
That was brilliant. Again, this will be the era of DMD. To the point TNT literally said we will rename ourselves if she wins for 24 hours.
Yeah.
I'm glad you touched on that, Noah, because we're about to talk about TNT. We're going to talk about the TNT championship between, I think, two horses in the ring. And I mean two of the most powerful men in AEW, on the AEW roster. We talk about Miro and Lance Archer. Now, Eric, I'm going to start off with you on this one. What do you think we will see out of this match between Miro and Lance? And do you see Miro retaining, or do you see Lance becoming the new TNT champion? Because, in my opinion, I feel like they booked themselves into a corner, and I feel like no.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that, because Lance Archer's been waiting for this for a year and has gone on to say that that the TNT title is comparable to the world title. Okay, you might have a point there because they don't have a Revolution debacle.
Right.
But Miro has been waiting for the opportunity to show that I could be a credible champion beyond my anti-American gimmick. So it's like, oh, we're screwed. What do we do? Do we give Miro the win, but then we want to give Lance Archer the shot? Or like, yeah, they would have to think of something to do. But I'm pretty sure Miro's going to have the shot because AEW loves to have their long title reigns, and plus, it would be such a WWE move if they just, okay, you're going to have it, and okay, he's going to give it up after 2 weeks.
Yeah. Noah, what do you think, man? Give me your thoughts.
This title represents, first off, they really have made this title something to really stand out in this company. Where anybody can go after it, anybody can hold it. Kudos to Darby Allin, who held up in there 200 days, 9 successful defenses, only losing on number 10. Definitely did, brilliantly proud. And he said he's not going to stop until he has that title again, because that's the only title he cares about. Respect. That being said, you got to remember one thing about the TNT Championship as well. Their title matches only go up to 20 minutes. We've already seen conclusive draws in these title matches as well. It honestly could be the way they protect Lance Archer and Miro as we figure out what is the direction they're trying to do with Lance Archer. He claims this is destiny, and some people believe he should have been the inaugural champion to begin with. And it didn't happen as Cody won that in a very good match. That being said, though, whether it's draw or somehow game over in a battle that could be literally compared to something out of a Rampage video game or King of the Monsters, I do have Miro retaining. He just received this title, and this is the most serious Miro that everybody's been waiting for since he showed up in AEW. Now that he's no longer the best man to Kip Sabian, who he literally busted his hand in forgiveness. With that being said, Destiny is going to clash, but if I'm going to put this in video game terms, you got both men with a health bar. I think Miro's going to pull out more combos, and when the clock runs out, the round's going to go to Miro. Miro's retaining one way or another. And I sense this is going to carry Lance in a different way going forward, especially with Sting still on his mind.
Agreed. Couldn't have said it any better, because this is the Miro we've been looking forward to ever since he stepped foot in AEW. This is what we should have got from the inaugural jump. And instead of waiting this long, but I guess what they say, long-term storytelling at its finest.
Also, like I keep saying, Miro requested, oh no, I want to start at the bottom and work my way up instead of being, I'm a WWE guy, therefore we're going to give me the big treatments.
There you go. Honorable man.
Good man at that. Good man at that.
The best man.
And since we was mentioning Darby earlier, this is going to transition into who I think is his first match in 6 years in front of a live crowd. We're going to talk about
correct.
We're going to talk about Darby Allin and Sting versus Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page. Now, when this first came about, when we saw Darby, it was before even Sting came out on Winter is Coming on December. We seen Darby up in the stands with the spotlight on him, and it threw the hint out there, basically saying, what does that remind you of? Who used to sit up in the bleachers like that, or sit up in the rafters like that, with him by himself? Didn't that remind you of Sting at one point?
Yeah.
So the hints were there. We already knew if Sting was coming. We just didn't know when. And then when December happened, lights went out, snow fell, and then what I think, man, if we had a full crowd that night of December of 2020, oh my God,
that would have been exploded.
Daly's place would have exploded. We had a full crowd then, and then everybody was noticing. Everybody kept talking. So is Darby going to be with Sting? Where is this going to lead to? And then we finally got it. Sting is with Darby. Darby's with Sting. And so far, especially with that street fight, that cinematic street fight, which was a very good match that happened a few months back at Revolution. One of the best cinematic matches I've ever seen. In which, give credit to Darby for putting all the work with that editing and in that match within itself.
And almost getting arrested.
Yeah, almost getting arrested.
Apparently, that doesn't know who Darby Allin is. Well, they should now.
Yep. TNT champion, former TNT champion at that and all. Now, I'm going to give this one to Noah on this one. Who do you got winning, and what do you think what's going to come? Because Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky have been going at Darby and Sting for these past few weeks. Do you think Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky are finally going to get the win with Sting over Sting and Darby? Or do you see Sting and Darby finally getting their revenge after these so many weeks and get the win over Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky?
Well, they finally got the best of Team Taz. We saw what that led to, but this seems more personal and short term between Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page, who literally just came together because both these men are out to prove why they're the best. They can pull it together as singles and tags, but also it's now literally been delivered as Sky wants to remove Sting from the picture as he's grown up and moved on, and Ethan Page is out to literally bury Darby Allin till there's nothing left of him. That being said, we've seen these four go back and forth, jockey and jockey. Some would say that Sky and Page really cost Darby Allin the title. We've seen how effective that heel hook and that Eagle's Edge can be. But the biggest wild factor here, this is Sting's first wrestling action, first in-ring wrestling action since 2015, where, of course, Seth Rollins, that was the last time he was actually in the ring. That being said, it almost feels like you've got to give it because it is Sting and Darby Allin. But I think about this, AEW trying to be different, the future of the tag team division, the future direction. What if somehow Scorpio Sky and Page, they pull out the win out of nowhere? It's some weird flash pin scenario or hot tag type thing where this kind of like simmers, but still isn't over. As Darby Allin has his sights still set to get back at the TNT title, but Sting, he's just here to basically move forward Darby Allin in a metro role, as people dreamed of. That being said, this is one of those matches I am the most torn on, and I'm going against typical logic when it comes to big time star. He has to win. They have to put him over. But Scorpio Sky and Page, they're undefeated as a tag team so far. So what do you choose? That's the hard thing. With that being said, crap. I'm going to go off a tangent here and go all in on this, and I might go bankrupt, but I don't care. I want to see something unique surprise me during this show. And I think Scorpio Sky and Page getting the better of these two one way or another will do that for me. So my pick is actually Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page. Pull it out.
There you go. He's going all in with the all ego in the face of the revolution.
I'm disappointed in you both.
Hey, Eric, what do
You're
you
the prisoner. You're the insightful one.
Component in this match.
What's that? The bat?
No, not the bat. That's illegal. Anyways, no.
Doesn't
The
matter
thing
to
that's
you.
important is that Darby is banged up after nearly being murdered and then getting murdered by Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page and Miro.
I know he's not. We know he's not. Everyone should know by now.
The stairs.
Yeah, literally, he is nowhere near 100%. But the thing about Darby Allin, he claims he's 50% human, and he is truly relentless. He will let himself get ragdolled to the point you think they're going to throw him through a glass window, and he'll still get up. Darby Allin's going to be the guy to receive the punishment here, and Sting's going to be the guy to get the momentum, and then ref spot. That's when I see the bat literally coming into play, because that's the one thing that Scorpio Sky and Page have not utilized.
I gotta mention, Sting, for the first time since his time in Impact, he did the fake out mask trick.
That was brilliant. I love that, by the way. I was like, wait, all these stingers. Oh, wait, that's the real Sting.
Yeah. Also, I'm also rooting for Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky. Because here's the thing about Darby Allin. Sting is Sting. He's always gonna be Sting. And we got another guest.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome the preacher, the meme king, Casey Flynn, as he connects his audio. Casey, you're a little late, but welcome to the party, brother. Eric, continue your point, and then Casey can resume where you leave off.
Okay, so Sting's always gonna be Sting. Darby Allin, I think he's reaching a point where if he loses a big match, it won't hurt him.
Pretty much. I mean,
I want Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page to start thriving more after this feud. So I feel like, they should totally get the win. Plus, Sting could take the fall if they're really concerned for Darby. But there is something else that Scorpio Sky said in an interview. He said someone in WWE texted him, Sting was my favorite growing up, don't hurt him. And we can only guess who that was.
But anyways, Kate, we are talking about the Darby Allin and Sting versus Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky. And, our boys here already made their prediction. Casey, I want to get your opinion and your thoughts. Who do you see coming out of this match, and what do you think is going to happen between Sting and Darby versus Ethan and Scorpio? Do you think they should, look towards the future and give the win to Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky, or give the win to Sting and Darby as their revenge win? What do you see where this goes?
I could see Sting and Darby picking up basically a revenge win right here over Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky. I mean, you don't know where this could go, because Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky can always cheat the win now, as they know they're close to getting beat, because I've seen a lot of heel wrestlers do that over the years. And I mean, the ref's back could be turned, and Scorpio Sky or Ethan Page could grab a weapon or something and knock either one of those out, and therefore they could pick up the win in a heelish type of way. But I see Sting and Darby getting a revenge win right here. But either way, they're expected. I mean, they're gonna take it real easy on Sting because he's older and everything. And Darby, I mean, it's gonna be a hard hitting match with Darby and either one of them. And Darby, for his size, I mean, he can absorb a hard hit. That's how impressive he is.
He fought Walter
and survived to tell the tale.
Indeed. I mean, Darby Allin does great for a man his size. I mean, Darby's a phenomenal wrestler, and either way, I could see this going either way. I mean, Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky can get a win by heelish way if they know that they're close to getting beat by Sting and Darby, or Sting and Darby can pick up a revenge win altogether.
There you have it.
Hey, I love that. So I think we can all basically say that, you know, with Sting's first time being back in the ring within 6 years, do y'all think Darby, of course, will carry the workload and have Sting do his spots here and there with what Sting does best?
He has to.
Exactly. That's where I feel like that's where it's going to go. Now we talk about the machine, the FTW World Champion, Brian Cage, versus the Hangman, Adam Page.
Who better?
Who better than Cage? Casey, I'm going to start this one off with you. Who do you got in this match between Brian Cage and the Hangman, Adam Page himself? Who you got?
I think I got Hangman Adam Page taking a win here because I'm going with the underdog and Hangman Page, even though Brian Cage is the favorite due to his size and all that, due to his size, strength, and agility in the ring. And I would not count out Hangman Page because he could always pull off the impossible. And if you count out Hangman Page, I think that's a big mistake going into this match because Hangman Page can go, and I mean, he can go in the ring. I mean, the guy is a great wrestler. I mean, he can put on classics like the best of them. I mean, he did great last year in the Stadium Stampede match.
Which we'll talk about.
And Adam Page, if anybody can give Brian Cage a match, it is definitely Adam Page. Because Adam Page, there's a never say quit attitude in that guy. And it's the cowboy, he could go all night if he wants to. I mean, and he can frustrate Brian Cage and get him out of his element of thinking. And as soon as Brian Cage gets frustrated and he's not thinking right, Adam Page can use that to his advantage to pick up a win.
I like that. Noah, where do you see go with this? Because ain't this the second time that they fought? If my memory serves me correctly, didn't Brian Cage give Hangman his first loss in 2021?
You would be correct.
So with that being said, do you think Brian has Hangman's number? But also when you look at it, you got to look at Team Taz and who can get involved. Powerhouse Hobbs. I mean, Will Hobbs can get involved. Hook can get involved. Ricky doesn't have to be physical, but he can still get involved in any type of capacity. And also Taz himself. Do you see what Brian Cage having to win and basically say, oh, hey, man, I got your number. I got you twice. Or do you see Hangman bounce back when they had their last match when Dynamite picked up the W and have him move forward in the rankings and basically maybe a certain AEW World Champion looms in the mix?
You basically took the long-term storytelling out of my mouth. And that's why I definitely have him and Adam Page going over here. You gotta keep in mind, the last match, there was a pre-match assault by all of Team Taz that led definitely in part towards Brian Cage's victory. That being said, it was called out Friday night. You feel you could beat me? do it on your own, unless you don't have the balls to do it. Because honestly, if it wasn't for that promo, you gotta wonder if Cage would have assaulted Page last night, and would we even have this match? With that being said, this is going to be a very hard-hitting, aggressive match. Both these men, they bring a power game, they bring a speed game, unlike anything you usually see with this type of clash of styles. That being said, Brian Cage, though, he's got a chip on his shoulder because he also lost to Christian Cage. So I don't know how he's going to feel if he loses to Heyman Adam Page here, as we have that continued rivalry ensuing. It almost makes me wonder if an inevitable tab between Christian Cage and Heyman Adam Page versus Hobbs and Brian Cage is something to come down the line. That being said, just looking at this match, Heyman called out the challenge to face Brian Cage here. It's the Cowboy versus Machine, but it's longer term storytelling where the Hangman gets his way back up in the rankings. I have Hangman pulling out the win with a buckshot lariat, maybe two, to prove how tough Brian Cage is. And we'll know once for all, who better? But I got the Cowboy winning this fight.
Eric. Well, are we going to see a drill claw on Adam Page, or is Brian Cage going to get a buckshot or a dead eye? Who you got?
I got Adam Page, but Cage has a shot here because here's the thing everyone has neglected to bring up. You mentioned last year where Hangman was awesome at with the Stadium Stampede, but that was last year. After that, the Young Bucks left him and went to and threw him out of the Elites. He had an alcohol addiction going on. He was having trust issues, and the wounds of what happened within the Elite still factor in, because when he was asked when he was the leading guy in the ranking, he ignored it. And then he lost the ranking to Brian Cage all the way down. Now we have a match with OC. And
We'll talk about very soon.
Yes.
Did you?
Then you also got to factor in that Brian Cage, well, this is the first ever Cage versus Page match. We just need to get Christian Cage and Diamond Dallas Page.
In a steel cage.
Cages and cages we can get for this war.
There's a Dr. Seuss book waiting to happen, people. Good grief.
Oh, don't worry. Hollywood will ruin that in a few years.
Good point. Anyway, continue.
Exactly.
But yeah. And then you got to now factor in that Hangman Page is now coming off of a busted skull opened.
Ooh.
Ooh.
That is true. That does not recover easily.
That's a nasty injury.
The point that he kind of looks like Christian Bale from American Psycho.
Yeah. People compare and contrast photo with him and Britt Baker. Who crazy?
Yeah, but I definitely see Hangman gain the win, but Brian Cage also has a shot here. But Brian Cage does also have the inner struggle with Team Taz, since he did say, I can win this without them, and Team Taz is probably going to get involved and inadvertently cost Cage the match, so in order to protect him.
It seems like a longer term thing too with Brian Cage and the Team Taz both split ever since he acknowledged Sting, you are the icon. And while that seems to be, just laying to rest, I would still think Taz maybe has some mixed feelings towards what Cage said.
Remember what happened to the last group that went ahead and squashed their issues initially, only to end in horrible tragedy?
Oh.
Ooh. Yeah.
We got a chair shot to the back.
Yeah.
I remember.
Yep.
I remember very well. Also, one other thing to think about here, Dark Order. Dark Order is friends with him and Page, so if Team Taz does get involved, they could also try and even the numbers.
Exactly.
20 against 4.
Well, I don't expect all 20 to come out, but I imagine Kubana or Alex Mills or John Silver, somebody.
Johnny Hungee.
Dark Order's champion -1 will try and get involved to deal with Hook.
Tony did come
that.
out. I mean, I did see on a tweet from somebody that Tony Khan did say in an interview that he does want -1 to be there because Brody was at Double or Nothing last year, and now he ain't here this year, which is sad to say that. So, rest in peace.
So,
but he does want -1, so I do see -1 being there. I do see -1 making an impact with the Dark Order and that Hangman and Brian Cage match. I do see that happening.
If it's not there, I guarantee it'll be during the Casino Battle Royale because Preston's involved in it.
That is correct. That is absolutely correct.
Now
Wait.
let's get to that match.
Yeah, that.
America.
Oh, good Lord. Here we go.
Let's make.
Casey, there's no Canadians involved. You don't need to sing, but King, break it down.
We're gonna break this down short and brief. We don't need no long storytelling here. We all know it's basically Britain versus America. Cody Rhodes versus Anthony Ogogo. I don't know how to break this down, but all I gotta say is this. Anthony Ogogo has to prove to me that he can just be better than a simple one punch to the gut. This is Cody we're talking about here. Cody can bring out a best match out of anybody you put him in the ring with. He can make a best match with the best of them. So Anthony Ogogo has to step up here, and he's got to prove that, in my opinion, he's got to be better than just a boxer. He's got to show me what he can do in the ring and what he cannot do in the ring, as far as wrestling itself goes. Eric, I'm gonna give this one to you. Who do you got in this match between Ogogo and, for one night only, the American Dream, if you will, Cody Rhodes?
Nice impression.
Also, I gotta bring this up. What the was that promo he cut a few weeks back? I'm still thinking, like, is he early to the whole "I'm going into politics after wrestling" game? Like, considering what happened this year, I won't say it, but you all know what I'm talking about in January. But not everyone kind of has that patriotism right now, especially after the commission thing was declined.
Let's not dive into that. But anyways, continue.
So I think Anthony Ogogo is going to win this but there is something I do think. Since Cody likes to bleed American blood.
Yeah, he does.
I am going to guess, since Cody has more resiliency and experience, but he is getting up there in age in his eyes, and he can't contend for the title anymore. I think he might take more than one gut punch to the liver.
You think so?
And it might force a TKO.
Oh, so we're gonna go with you. So you think we're gonna go like boxing style here, and then basically that one multiple gut punch, or however many he's gonna throw it, is gonna basically end up with a Cody being TKO.
Yes.
I like that. I actually like that. Something, we haven't seen in wrestling before, a little TKO. It's rare for that to happen.
What happened to the last TKO? Chris Jericho confronted the Beast.
Oh, yeah. About SummerSlam.
That was messy. That was downright messy.
Wait, there was another TKO, except that one was stupid and ruins the gimmick match forever.
Which one was that?
Which one? I'm trying to.
That was like after when Chris Jericho confronted Brock Lesnar backstage.
No, not that one.
No, not that one. Not that one. There's a different one.
It involves a sledgehammer and a clown hammer. You know which one.
Triple H involved in that sledgehammer.
Really?
It's not Triple H and Brock Lesnar steel cage. You're stopping me, bro.
Can you give us what it was? Because
The Fiend and Seth Rollins.
Right.
Oh,
I was trying to make it easier on you guys.
The red crate of hate. The night of infamy. Well, moving on. That night does not exist. Back to AEW.
Back to this.
A good point.
Also, would this be a bad time to tell you all that someone actually thinks that's a masterpiece?
Yeah, some people are delusional.
Anyways,
people are out there.
Okay, but moving on. Noah, who do you got between this, battle of countries here between Cody and Anthony Ogogo?
Well, first off, Anthony Ogogo sounds just as American as anybody else. He loves cheesecake and he loves going home and doing it with his wife. That's America, in my opinion. That being said, the Canada versus the American Dream. Right, we saw a countdown, okay? Anthony Ogogo needs to really prove to us that he's not just a boxer, but he actually can be a wrestler. Because he's not going up against a boxer. He's going up against a pro wrestler. Cody says he's going to do whatever it takes. even if this is a weight he has to bear himself, that he chooses to bear as he was trying to step out from underneath his father's shadow, which is why he became American Nightmare in the first place. Something telling me in this battle of Nightmare Family, Nightmare Factory, yes, Cody is going to be pushed further with, I think, more than one punch to the gut. Yes, I do believe that this match will be longer, as Anthony Ogogo has only had a combined 3 minutes of total in-ring time in AEW. And in my research, he's only had one other previous wrestling match back in jolly old England, and it was a tag match. So he really needs to prove something to me here, and that's what this is about. Cody is going to test this governor. But inevitably, as we look at the battle of Family vs. Factory, I have Cody winning because, again, I do believe a bigger picture is Cody and Dustin reuniting as a tag team against some form of the Factory, whether it's QT and Camarado or Anthony Ogogo and Camarado. This thing's far from over between these two, but something in me just feels like that Cody right now in a battle, what feels like not only just families, but national pride, and somehow does feel personal with the fact he is about to be a father too. I have Cody somehow pulling it out. It could be as simple as a wrestling roll-up. We've seen it done before.
I like that. I like that. I like how you touched up on the Cody and Dustin reunited. I would love to see the Brotherhood together again in AEW. I love to see that. But Casey, who do you got? A Go-Go or Cody? Who you got?
All right. Who I got in this one? My gut tells me if Cody Rhodes is might pull this out here, because you never count out Cody Rhodes, and he's got a lot of heart. I mean, just like Dusty Rhodes had a lot of heart back in the day. And Cody Rhodes might win while he's busted open, and he might have that never give up attitude, but my part of my mind tells me that Anthony Ogogo will probably win, just so he could get heel heat. I mean, Cody Rhodes putting over a heel, and Anthony Ogogo is certainly that heel type of wrestler that could generate heat from a crowd. And Anthony Gogo, I mean, he certainly could be another good heel in AEW. He's capable of doing that. And I say, I mean, even though I said Cody Rhodes might win, but I would never, never look past QT and the Factory, because they could always get involved and have the ref distracted, and Anthony Ogogo could probably pick up one of those flag poles and hit Cody Rhodes with it. And then Cody Rhodes is like death and real out of it. Then Anthony Ogogo could hit his finisher. 1, 2, 3. Crowd boos real loud. Anthony gets a lot of heel heat, and Cody puts over Anthony right there, because Cody, I mean, he's getting up there in age and all. I mean, you know, he's not going to be doing this a long time. I mean, if he does it a long time and his heart's still in it, then props to him. But I have a feeling he might put over Anthony Ogogo. Even though I'm saying Cody might win, but my other mind tells me he could put over Anthony at the same time.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from, because, you know, Cody can put over a lot of people, and also he also can do it for himself. And also, you know, with that type of heel heat, I don't think we've ever seen, well, except for, you know, Roman, of course, but that's another topic.
Also, you gotta remember, Cody's probably gonna lose either way. If he beats Anthony Ogogo, he's the wrestling devil. If he loses to Anthony Ogogo, he's a failure of an American.
Yeah, so either way you look at it,
Got a good point.
Lose, because, you know, the IWC will go crazy if either way you look at it.
Let's be honest. Nothing stops the IWC. But again, this match, it's just been booked weird to feel more about national pride versus who's better, a wrestler or a boxer. And that's really what I think it should come down to, because why he's got 2 years of actual wrestling experience. Cody's got 15 years.
All right, when you look at this though, the IWC, they're always gonna have an opinion or something to say. I mean, you can't change nobody's opinion and all that.
Like Roman is the case study to end all case studies, but it's like Cody's hate, the hate that people give Cody is like, what did Cody do? Did he kick a puppy and everyone's just condemning him for something? Like, I know he annoyed people early on in AEW, but like, that was 2019.
And it's not like it's not like he's the champion. It's not like the company really is about him. He puts people forward.
Exactly right.
He restricted himself from the world title for good, and he keeps saying he'll never do it.
He's literally keeping a promise where promises in wrestling is about as real as paper can survive a rock falling through it.
I mean, Cody Rhodes does not want the AEW World Championship, and I could respect that. I mean,
Actually,
he wants to give the future.
He does, but he felt like my time's coming up, so to speak, because like in 5 years I'm going to go into politics and be in America.
That's right. He wants to go into politics, but he also he only wants to wrestle until he's 40. While every wrestler should strive for the world championship, you got to consider your longevity. Can you hold up to what this title represents and the pressures that come with it? I think Cody basically had this plan from the get-go. There's a reason why he put over freaking MJF. Remember, he lost that match back at Revolution.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
They haven't met each other since.
No, they haven't, but I bet you down the line we will probably see it.
Yeah, one day we'll see Cody and MJF clash again in some weird tournament by gum. But honestly, I think it's safe to say maybe not, because again, to this point, they have not really tried to retcon anything.
That is one of my favorite feuds of AEW, Cody Rhodes and MJF.
Oh yeah,
MJF. I mean, don't get me wrong now. I mean, the guy. I mean, we already know he's the top #1 heel in AEW.
Right, the best actual in wrestling.
Because the dude can play a prick to perfection when you get down to it.
Yeah,
he is the best way to describe it. He is basically, hey, what if we gave Miz a dirty mouth for TV?
Except he can actually wrestle. Miz can't.
Yeah, Miz can't.
Miz does not come close to MJF when you get down to it. I mean, MJF, I mean, when you get down to it, he can talk shit during build-ups to certain pay-per-view matches, but I got to give him this. He backs it up real good. He backs it up.
Do you remember last year, Double or Nothing, that singles match between him and Jungle Boy? Still to this day, one of the best talked about matches.
Oh, I remember that match. Oh, that was
MJF is fucking great wrestler when you get there.
Underrated match that no one has ever talked about. Ever since that match happened, in my opinion. I think that match is underrated and deserves to be more talked about.
And I would love to see that match revisited again someday. But with that being said, you still got 2 matches left, King.
Yep. And since we on this MJF talk, we transition into the stadium stampede.
Oh Lord.
Yeah.
Put up the graphic.
Main match of the night.
You got it, bro. Start talking as of right now.
Let's talk about this. Let's break it down to the best of our abilities here. This is between 2 factions who can't stand each other since MJF deep down started his own group while he was in the inner circle. MJF had this plan all along to start a new faction in AEW. With that being said, it's just between the inner circle and the Pinnacle. This is part 2 of what we're going to leave off at Blood and Guts, in which I think was a damn classic Blood and Guts match. But yet they want to say, oh, it set the business back 30 years. No, it did. But we're not even going to talk about that part.
Then we did zombies, so we know what's up.
Stay tuned, folks, for Open Mic Night 2, where this and more will be covered. Continue, King.
We already did cover an Open Mic Night.
I know, but I'm sure we'll revisit a topic in a different way because wrestling always has something to talk about.
Exactly. So
the
2 factions cannot stand each other. They hate each other's guts. They will basically kill each other until one faction is that last faction standing between the both of them. But remember, gentlemen, if the inner circle loses, they break up forever. With that being said, no, I'm gonna hand this one off to you. Did we see on Friday night as a group the last time we saw the Inner Circle together? Or do the Inner Circle still reign supreme and get their win from Blood and Guts over the Pinnacle at Stadium Stampede 2?
Well, this is Jericho's invention, and he lost the first one, which is why MJF went back to this. As MJF has been trying to take the Jericho spot, to which point I think Jericho is truly trying to give MJF, as Jericho's been putting over talent in AEW since day one. Case in point, the Inner Circle. This has been the first group outside the Elite, the foundation of this company in a world of factions since the inauguration of AEW Dynamite. For the last 2 years, this company has given us timeless classic matches, hilarious moments, standout segments galore, and we literally seen MJF take it apart from the inside out to the point he's recreated the Four Horsemen in his own way with one of the very much from it.
I still refer to them as the AEW version of the Dangerous Alliance.
Thank you. That's what I was hoping you would say, because I was about to say that. All we're missing is a giant phone. That being said, this is going to not be a normal match. This is going to be a match unlike any other. And as Tony Khan alluded to on AEW Unrestricted, there will be live elements involved in here. And we kind of got a teaser of how that's going to work as we saw the Inner Circle go straight from the ring, literally leave that arena and go to the football field, only to be taken out. Now, you would think, based on wrestling logic that you would know from another company, oh, okay, they got buried, they're going to win. I would not rule that out, because AEW loves surprises, loves to do things differently, and this is obviously going to close the show. It's the biggest moment you could have. That being
last
said,
match of the cinematic era.
Yeah, that too. Don't remind me. That being said, looking at this match, I'm thinking about every possible way that this could go, and the only way I see this moving forward for both is if the Pinnacle is the one on top. We know that Jericho's time, as you alluded to for wrestling, his time's got to be coming soon. The guy's over 50 years old. He's done absolutely everything he could to raise this brand, as MJF alluded to in promos against him, and everybody involved in it as well. MJF is literally the future, whether people like it or not. And you got the likes of FTR and Shawn Spears and Wardlow falling up in this too. Pound Bravo could be more involved in the tag team division as standouts going forward. Jake Hager could go after the TNT title and mix it up with his MMA type stuff. And in my opinion, Sammy Guevara is a future AEW World Champion just waiting to happen. Jericho said even himself, if he finishes out a career in AEW, he'd be fine with that. He just do commentary and he'd be fine with that. That being said, right now, everything in me says that it's time to really see what this new era Tony Khan's alluded to of AEW is going to lead to, starting with the first group breakup in the Inner Circle. Somehow, some way, I have the Pinnacle going over, because when you're in the Pinnacle, you're always on top.
Casey, this one's on to you. You were saying MJF is a top heel in AEW, and I agree with you 100%. And do you really think he took Jericho's spot, and you think that match will solidify it, or do you see Jericho claiming his top spot back from MJF, and you see the Inner Circle still together by the end of the night?
All right, this could go either way. I mean, with the Inner Circle and the Pinnacle, but even though I got the Inner Circle winning, because you know how factions one lose to another one. I mean, in the first match, I mean, the Inner Circle could get their revenge win back from Blood and Guts, and Chris Jericho, I mean, the guy may be getting older in age and approaching 50-something years old. I mean, there's a lot of people counting Jericho out, but that's a big mistake. Never count Chris Jericho out, because he's been around the game a long time, and Jericho could surprise a lot of people, and the Inner Circle could surprise a lot of people by winning here over the Pinnacle. But I say Pinnacle could pick up. I mean, the Pinnacle could always pull off Shocker and all this because I see a lot of. I mean, you know how one faction gets the upper hand on the other that night, and whatever a certain faction is standing tall that night on AEW Dynamite, how the Pinnacle stood tall that night. Part of me tells me that the Inner Circle could win this match at Stadium Stampede, and if they don't, I mean, I wouldn't be disappointed at all because MJF certainly very young and in his prime. I mean, Chris Jericho is not going to stay at the top forever because at some point in time, he's going to be retired from in-ring competition. I mean, he'll be great on commentary, and Sammy Guevara, I mean, Jake Hager, I mean, Santana and Ortiz, they could always go after the AEW World Tag titles, and Jake Hager could always go after the TNT title. I mean, Jake Hager and Miro, I say, run it back for the TNT title because that encounter would be a lot better than their first encounter in WWE for the United States title. Because both of these guys, and Miro and Jake Hager, have greatly improved within the ring. I mean, Jake Hager and Miro would be a battle of the heavyweights going at it. And Sammy Guevara, I mean, he could do his own thing and all that. And Pinnacle, I think they could be the predecessor to the Inner Circle because Inner Circle dominated a lot during their heel run and all this. But I wouldn't be stunned if the Pinnacle won now. But I'd be stunned if the Inner Circle won because I don't expect the Inner Circle to win because Chris Jericho might put over MJF as the next top heel in AEW, but I'd be very surprised if the Inner Circle wins because, like MJF, he has a motto: "I'm better than you, and you know it." In the Pinnacle, you all will be on top. I mean, they have a motto of all that. And Tully Blanchard reminds me, I'm not comparing Tully to Bobby Heenan, but Bobby Heenan had a saying like, if you listen to me, you go to the top. If you don't, you're never heard from again. And Tully, in either way, I see. I mean, if the Inner Circle, I can see the Inner Circle pulling off an upset win, even though a lot of people wouldn't expect them to win. But the Pinnacle is the favorites heading into this Stadium Stampede match. That I could tell you. Inner Circle are the underdogs.
Everyone's rooting for the Inner Circle, so we'll have to wait and see. But you also got to keep in mind two other things before Aaron speaks. Jericho's got a Fozzy tour coming up. Jericho's coming in this with only one arm at 100%, and it wouldn't surprise me if that's exploited in some way. While Jericho said, to beat us, you're going to have to kill us. And we'll see how far that goes.
Yep. I mean, Chris Jericho, I mean, he's busy with the Fozzy tour and all that stuff. I mean, I can see if the Inner Circle loses here, I mean, they're gonna have to disband. Do the stipulation forever. I mean, but down the line now, I mean, they can always reunite because there's no certain, I mean, factions don't stay disbanded forever because, I mean, you see them reuniting down the line.
Yeah, it feels like AW when they say something, they honor it, but I do see what they're saying.
Right.
Yeah. And mean, that's what happens in wrestling. I mean, look at DX within WWE, Triple H, and Shawn Michaels. I mean, that was a great feud of the early 2000s. And they got back together in 2006. I mean, the feud with Vince McMahon and all that. I mean, in AEW, I mean, you could see the inner circle reuniting down the line and all this. I don't believe in the words such as forever because, like in wrestling, never say ever.
Correct. Eric, you the man. You know I gotta save for last on this one. Now, with Jericho dealing with this match going one arm Jericho, do you see Jericho working this match with that same injury he's dealing? Or do you see an honorary member come into this match and helping out the people? And who do you got in this match?
Well, so far, I'm still thinking Pinnacle's going to win because everyone seems to forget this. The Pinnacle is actually 2-0 against the Inner Circle. You forgot. MJF beat Jericho clean.
Right.
True.
Yes. So MJF has the psychological edge, along with screaming with blood over his face. Jericho's one-armed, and Fozzie's coming up. And like I said, while I could bring up Mike Tyson, I'd still say we could call a little friend from Empire.
What exactly you talk about? Mr. Jeff Cobb himself.
Was a hired gun.
Mm-hmm.
And now, but while I would love that for just to continue the crossover with Japan and AEW, just to piss Vince off. It's so great.
Again, though, Dominion, man, Dominion's literally around the corner, and Jeff Cobb's facing Kota Ibushi.
Yeah, so I don't think that's going to happen unless they want to forego any protocols.
Right.
Which
still in a pandemic. Still living through a pandemic.
But I definitely think MJF and his team are going to win this. And I have big 3 predictions for MJF and one for this match. One, MJF is going to win. His team's going to win. But I think down the road, if Samoa Joe joins AEW, they're going to bring it up. That's between the two.
God, I would love to see Samoa Joe in AEW. You have no idea.
I said this before on Twitter. Like, I'm pretty sure Samoa Joe's going to be backstage. MJF's going to look scared seeing him. And then Samoa's just going to look at him and then be like, tap or something. Like, pound his fist on something and say, nah, too easy.
Just drop it where he stands, put him in the freaking coquina.
But anyways, here's a very dark prediction. I know this chances are highly unlikely, but what if someone betrays the Inner Circle for MJF?
Well, we have seen MJF talk with Sammy Guevara.
Ooh.
And Sammy was the first guy Jericho brought into the Inner Circle on episode 1 of Dynamite. The ultimate
He also was
betrayal.
the first one to quit.
Yeah, which adds further layers.
Sammy Guevara, you got a point there, Eric, because, nobody expects Sammy Guevara to turn heel that night, but it would be a shocking heel turn of the century if Sammy Guevara goes into the Pinnacle and Sammy Guevara says to Chris Jericho, I was plotting with MJF all along.
It's me, Jericho. It's me all along.
I always hated you.
And Sammy saying, you used me to get to the top, Chris.
Okay, there is one more thing I wanted to bring up. Here's what I'm going to say. After Kenny Omega inevitably drops the title to who I think is Hangman Page, I think MJF is going to dethrone Hangman for the Pinnacle's ultimate new crown.
There you go, because Double or Nothing, it was MJF and him and Adam Page were the final two of that Nairo Casino Battle Royale. You're literally running it all back.
Exactly.
Speaking
Now,
of
let's focus on the world title.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest is a triple threat scheduled for one fall, and it is for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. Go for it, King.
Bring up the graph for me, please. Let's talk about it. We got.
Let's get ready to rumble.
Yeah.
Let's get on.
As we got the Bastard, Pac, Orange Cassidy, and then the belt collector himself, Kenny Omega. Oh my goodness. Who would have ever thought that it was soon to happen? Orange Cassidy was going to be in the world title picture, but sooner before we knew it. I didn't expect it would come this early. I was a year.
But you gotta contend this, King. Orange Cassidy is super over, especially for the kids. What better way to make Kenny Omega the top heel over MJF than having kids cry for their orange destruction?
Basically attack the biggest face, as he calls him the mascot, the biggest face in AEW. Freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy.
Like, all he has to do is do this, and crowds will go crazy.
Or his
by the way.
Or his kicks, and they will go super crazy for those kicks.
Oh God, yeah.
And you know who's gonna watch this and be ranting on Twitter?
Jim Cornette.
Jim Cornette.
But also, gentlemen, get to see Omega and Pac in the ring once again. Do you remember their Iron Man match years ago and how much of a classic?
It was last year, man.
It was last year. I know.
It wasn't years ago.
You know what I'm talking about.
Pandemic messed up our time perceptions, but still.
Yeah. But that was a classic match, and we're finally get to see this match again. Like them two in the ring again, but we, Orange Cassidy in the mix. Casey, you have the floor on this one. First of all, good sir. Who do you got in this match? And I'm going to throw this question out there just because why not? Do you see Orange Cassidy walking out as AEW World Champion?
Absolutely not. As much as I like Orange Cassidy, I mean, he's not ready to be in that role as AEW World Champion as of yet. I mean, I get it. The guy's the biggest baby face in all the company, and as soon as his entrance theme hits and those kicks come into play, he's going to get the loudest pop of the night. I mean, Orange is going to be so over with the crowd, it wouldn't even be funny. And I mean, Orange is not ready for that type of workload as AEW World Champion as of yet. I mean, his time will come soon enough, but it's not the right time yet. I mean, Kenny Omega, I mean, my choice is I see Ken from North Carolina.
Haven't heard that in a while.
And Omega. And I see the best bout machine on the wrestling planet, Kenny Omega, the current champ, picking it up here and retaining the AEW World title because Kenny is an experienced vet of this game. I mean, this triple threat match will be a classic. The Pac, Orange Cassidy, and Kenny. But I see Kenny Omega defining all the odds and retaining the AEW World title that night. In Orange, I mean, Omega's going to get booed real loudly if he pins Orange Cassidy because that's to be expected because Kenny will look like the biggest heel in the company if he pins Orange Cassidy here. And Kenny Omega is not done yet as AEW World Champ because Kenny Omega will drop the AEW World Title when he wants to, but this night he will not drop the AEW World Title because Orange Cassidy is not ready to be AEW World Champ as much as I like the guy. I mean, he will be ready to be AEW World Champ down the line, Orange Cassidy. But if Orange Cassidy wins, I mean, anti-Orange Cassidy fans are going to be like, the wrong man won and all this stuff. And what I have to say is,
Cornette will cry.
Yeah. Oh my God! If Orange Cassidy wins that night, I hope somebody rubs it in the Jim Cornette so bad. I mean, this will be Cornette.
This will be the death note for Jim Cornette.
It will be the ultimate death note. Oh my God.
Jim's voice. I mean, like his throat will be sore so bad, and expect him to drink his favorite soda, Sprite, because when he drinks that Sprite, that's ultimate ammo to get him going on a rant. He will go on a rant that night if Orange Cassidy wins. That's to be expected. But I expect Kenny Omega
throwing away all the oranges in his house and the garbage.
Yes, that's what I was thinking. No. He attacks oranges. He destroys oranges. But Casey, we're going off a tangent here.
Eric, I'm passing you.
So bottom line, Casey believes Kenny Omega's going to win. And for people that may have lost track, because people are like, yes, let Jim Cornette lose his head. But bottom line, Casey is picking Kenny Omega, folks.
Go. Eric, what are your expectations going to this triple threat match? Do we see a new champ between either Pac or Cassidy? Or do you see the belt collector still retaining?
It's going. Kenny's still champ. He has to recall all roads will eventually lead to him and Hangman crossing once more.
I like.
He has to go through freshly squeezed and the bastard.
Mm-hmm.
But you've all neglected something here.
I haven't said anything, so put it on them.
Yeah, put it on it.
Triple threat match.
Yep.
No disqualifications.
Mm-hmm.
Good brothers.
Death Triangle.
Don Callis.
The best friends.
The Young Bucks.
Yes.
Somebody from Impact?
Maybe Moose.
Sami Callihan.
It could be wildly pandemonium that night.
Yes.
Yes.
No.
And the idea of Orange Cassidy being world champ, well, it would be awesome to see, and just to see Jim Cornette lose his mind and go on the most biggest rant ever since for his name being called.
He would go on a rant worse than JDNY from New York.
That too.
Yeah.
I don't think Orange Cassidy will be champion. I think everyone's going to witness the demise of Freshly Squeezed, and kids all over the world shall cry, and Kenny will drink their tears.
That's storytelling at its finest.
And he will find their tears delicious.
I have the ultimate mockery.
What's that?
What if?
Here we go.
And he gets a whole tank of their tears and dumps orange powder in it.
Oh. That would be the biggest heel move ever.
And has the words OC on it. Say he ground him into dust.
Oh, that is genius.
Come on, Tony. You guys have my email in your servers, I think.
So
run that by Tony.
Kenny, Don, someone DM him on Twitter. Give him that
Prolific
idea.
storytelling at its
Yeah.
finest for Kenny Omega, the
Yes.
ultimate anime supervillain.
Yeah. I run that to Don Callis and Kenny Omega. They would absolutely like that idea.
Man, that was perfect. Perfect
That
story.
is genius.
Love
That
Eric.
is genius.
I mean,
Noah-
Kenny Omega and Don Callis. I mean, one of us has to message them about that idea.
Well, I'm sure somebody will, if not already.
And Noah, you got the best of the last part of it. Will we see a new champ, or is Omega still going to retain while he looks forward to a new championship added to his collection?
Kenny Omega right now is the most prolific, open-minded, productive wrestler in the wrestling business today, holding down 4 titles across 3 companies. There's no way in hell Kenny Omega's losing. You don't look at this match for the outcome. You look at it for the story. Again, this is AEW's first triple threat match, and it's for their championship. We're going to see how this stands out versus all the other triple threats from another company. And we're also going to see how they really carry this forward, which really is becoming a feud among 3 families: Death Triangle, the Elite, and now the Best Friends. You saw Chris Statlander stare daggers in Kenny Omega's eyes. I would not mess with that alien. That being said, Kenny Omega's going into this as champion, but he already has fallen to the Boston Pac. And this is the first time that Kenny Omega is going to clash with freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy in a match people wanted that they never knew thought could happen. Pac, however, owes singles victories over both of these men. Of course, Kenny Omega did get his victory back in that classic Iron Man clash from last year. And of course, Pac did beat freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy last year Revolution in a match that opened the world's eyes to, oh my God, Orange Cassidy, where the hell have you been? Who are you? And Orange Cassidy's been up from there. As he alluded to on Countdown, he's been put over by Chris Jericho, beating that man twice, which is why he is in this match. He's believable, believe it or not, folks. And he already gave his prolific statement this past Friday on Dynamite, dropping both champion and challenger, and everybody took that screenshot of freshly squeezed holding that title. That is not something to be ruled out eventually. But as far as Double or Nothing, not at this time, as again, we already alluded to, the bigger story here. Not only is the inevitable Orange Cassidy, Kenny Omega singles match to come, title or non-title, you tell me. But right now, the biggest thing going in AEW is Hangman's ultimate rise to becoming the AEW World Champion through Kenny Omega. Whether or not they execute that at All Out, where it all began after he lost Chris Jericho in the inaugural match.
It's that Full Gear where Kenny defeated him.
Yeah, 2 years ago, or Full Gear, like you said, where he defeated him in that inaugural tournament, and it's 1 year in the making. You tell me. But that's the bigger story here. But the bottom line, Orange Cassidy, Kenny Omega, match to come. Will Pac versus Orange Cassidy be revisited? Will Pac versus Kenny Omega be revisited? You tell me. Someone has to get a fall here, and in my opinion, I don't see it being Orange Cassidy. I see it being Pac. But or no matter what, Kenny Omega's coming out with the title. It wouldn't surprise me afterwards if Moose comes out and spears the man, because we know inevitably coming up soon, before anything else, it is Moose versus Omega for the Impact World Heavyweight Championship. But Kenny Omega's retaining tomorrow night, bar none.
Okay. I just realized something.
What up?
What if, and this is a wild card prediction, what if Kenny Omega, as both his philosophy that Chris Statlander's an alien and they're going to promote the video game, he V-triggers her.
Oh, another idea coming from the news. My God, you full of ideas tonight.
Well, to be fair, Chris Statlander would be no stranger to intergender warfare, because the reason she is with the Best Friends because her and Orange Cassidy face each other.
Mm-hmm.
And plus, remember, the video game for the consoles is intergendered inclusive.
I can't wait to do Hikaru Shida versus Kenny Omega. Just saying. Yeah, Eric, again, you want big surprises. You want out-of-the-box thinking and moments. That's a moment to remember. Because again, like you said, triple threat, no DQ. Chaos is going to ensue. There's no doubt about it.
I just got this realization. Okay, what if they pull it? What if they do this? Kenny Omega still retains, but what if they go the Dean Ambrose Triple H route with the pinfall, or the Pac and Jericho pinfall? Where Neville almost won the world title against Seth Rollins.
That's right, but he didn't fight.
Yeah. What if they did that? What if the Dean Ambrose Triple H match or the Neville versus Seth Rollins match where they look like they won, but it turns out, oh, there's a quirk in this. They can't do it.
Yeah, that's right. I just can't wait to be on the edge of my seat for the amount of near falls in this match coming out from Orange Cassidy, who, let's face it, they're going to capitalize on. He recently coming off what possibly could have been a concussion. He might be the most vulnerable in this match.
Originally AEW had planned to have this be a 20-minute draw.
Exactly.
And
right.
Orange Cassidy was legit KO'd, so they were like, okay, we got to do something. Okay, Kenny, go out there and deck Neville in the head.
Yeah, and then put over Orange Cassidy. We're out here for your protection. Well, you didn't want to take our protection. Now I'm going to hurt you. I'm going to punish you.
And people were going ahead and bashing AEW for the whole, why'd you go the WWE route? And I was like, because Orange Cassidy was legit KO'd and they had to think on their feet.
Yeah, and here in this case, they improvise on the spot in a smart, logical fashion, not stupid, pointless warfare. The bottom line is this is the first triple threat championship match in freaking AEW history, and it's going to be a match to remember.
There you go.
Like, now I realize that outside of tag teams, I think this is the second one that had more matches, more people than just two. I think the first one was Jungle Boy, MJF, Hangman. Who was the fourth one?
Was it Jimmy Havoc?
Yeah, Jimmy Havoc. Yeah. He got fired.
Yeah, I hope he gets better. But yeah, and that was also at another pay-per-view. It wasn't a pay-per-view. It was one of those free specials too. But I know which match you're talking about. Yeah, 4-way.
Yeah, when did they do that? I think this is like the second time they did a multi-man match, singles match.
I think so. It's a rare thing that they do in AEW, especially under these circumstances. But again, that's the thing about AEW. They don't overplay a gimmick and they build towards it in a proper way to make you think while they're doing this. There's a reason why there's only been one actual steel cage match in AEW history.
Right.
Yep. It was.
Yeah. Well, with that being said, folks, that concludes this episode of the ATW View Double or Nothing Predict Special. King, tremendous job. That is the entire Double or Nothing card. What are your predictions? What are you most excited for? How are you feeling for Orange Cassidy when he gets a fall of 2.99? Are you going to be on the edge of your seat? What are you most looking forward to? Are you looking forward to inevitably maybe the era of the Doctor? How will Miro crush Lance? Will it go to a tie? What sort of surprises await us? Who will show up? Who will be all elite? We're going to have to stay tuned, as this is now the conclusion of the ATW View at 9:38 p.m. Eastern Standard Time Saturday night. For the Inquisitor Eric Brown, for the Preacher Casey Flynn, for the All Elite Man and our host tonight himself.
Oh, you forgot to mention this. AEW acknowledged him.
Oh yeah, how could I forget? How did you forget to talk about this too, bro? By the way, folks, definitely follow all of us, but follow this man because AEW acknowledged his tweet about. It's amazing what 2 hours of professional wrestling can do under go-home circumstances.
I shame you, King. I shame you for not bringing that up.
You only can remember so much. All right, give him a break. This is impromptu ATW View on Saturday night. What will be our next one? Will it be NXT? Will it be Hell in a Cell? Will it be an open mic night? Will it be something crazier too where Casey or Eric may host? You have to keep watching this channel and stay tuned. Follow us on Twitter. Our Twitter handles will be in the description down below. Again, for the Inquisitor Eric Brown, for the Preacher Casey Flynn, for the All Elite Man King A Train, I am the Simple Man Noah Foster. Thank you for tuning in, and as always, we leave you with this: just enjoy life and enjoy wrestling. Simple as that. Thank you, folks, for tuning in. Have a good night and enjoy Double or Nothing tomorrow night. And be elite.